Hey guys, welcome to the 2 a.m. pipe on the patio. Today, smoking my 7LA 320 Beyonda with some Cary Grant from Kramer's in it. Beautiful, gorgeous day today. Absolutely stunning out here. Nice cool breeze, nice and warm. Just sitting out here relaxing. Just having a good old time. And enjoying the sun and a pipe and the beautiful weather. And was jarring up some tobacco today. Jarred up a pound of this Kramer's. Got a couple of big ball jars and jarred up a pound of this. And I got some small jars, jarred up a tin of Edward G. Robinson and a tin of My Mixture 965 and a tin of what was the other one? Early Morning Pipe. And I got to do another pound of Watch City, Old North Church. So I got a couple of jars, big jars for that. Put 8 ounces in each jar. So I'll finish that when I'm done with this. And then I'll be done with the jarring for today, I think. I gotta tell you, man, I am in love with this Cary Grant blend. I am just in love with this. That's just a nice smooth, everyday kind of codger blend that I could smoke. I could smoke this. It's not Garth and Hogarth. I mean, don't get me wrong, but it's a good smoke. It's a good, decent smoke, man. I could just smoke this all the time and be happy smoking it. It's a good, decent smoke. So the plants are coming up out here, all the daffodils and lilies and stuff are starting to come out. Starting to turn into spring out here all of a sudden. Baseball's starting. I got a Giants game on today at 4 o'clock I get to watch. How cool is that? I love the smell of leather in the springtime. You know, leather and hickory. Ah, gotta love that. Might have to break out my old baseball glove. Throw the ball up in the air to myself out here in the backyard. I may have to go invest in a pitch back. Throw the ball out here to myself and play catch by myself out here. I don't know if I could hit it anymore. My shoulder's so bad, I don't know if I could throw a ball anymore. Remember when I was a kid, I was about 12, 13, 14 years old, and I'd go up to my grandma's house, and my uncle had a detached garage that had double doors on it, and they were real kind of flimsy doors on it, but in the middle section between the two doors it was pretty stout. It was real well built, stout middle section, and it was a dirt driveway that went up to it. So I'd always bring a tennis ball or something with me. I'd bring a baseball and a tennis ball with me whenever I'd go up there. And he had a kid next door to him. His name was David. And David and I would play catch all day long. You know, all summer long. I'd go up there for a month or something and spend a month up there. And David and I would play catch. We were the same age. And we'd play catch. Get out there first thing in the morning and just play catch, trade baseball cards, you know, just stuff kids did all the time back in the early 70s. We were both, this was up in Richmond, California, and this is when the A's were really good, and David was a big A's fan. And I liked the A's. I was a Giants fan, but I liked the A's too. And so we'd walk down. My Aunt Jane would walk us down to this little 5 and dime store called Loray's. And Aunt Jane she'd always give me, when I'd get up there, she'd give me $10, which back in 1972, 73, 74 was huge money. I mean, for a kid, that was massive money, you know. And baseball cards were 10 cents a pack. You know, you could buy a ton of baseball cards for $10. And so she'd give me $10. She'd say, you can buy anything you want. So I'd buy, you know, baseball cards for $10. So I'd come out of there with, you know, 100 packs of baseball cards. And I'd get some for David. I'd get, 20 packs of baseball cards for David or whatever. And I wouldn't buy 100 all at once, but I'd buy, I'd go down there and I'd buy 20 packs of baseball cards for me and 20 packs for David. And we'd come home and we'd open them all up. And then we'd start swapping baseball cards. And David's favorite player at the time was Mike Eyeshide. He was the first baseman for the A's. So any Mike Eyeshide player I'd trade to him for somebody else. If he had a Giants player or something, we'd just swap cards. And my favorite player was Ed Goodson. I loved Ed Goodson. Ed Goodson, still one of my all-time favorite baseball players. In fact, he lives here in Virginia now, right near me. So we'd swap cards. We'd just sit around and we'd swap cards, and we'd go play catch. But my uncle had this middle section of his garage door. It was really stout. So I'd go out there with the tennis ball, and I'd throw for hours and hours, just throwing that ball against the garage door at that middle section of the garage. And he'd come home from work, and his bedroom was right by the garage door. And I'd be out there, and I'd be throwing that ball and just be going bam, 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 bam against that garage door. Finally, he'd come out, and he'd go, "Hey, how about taking a break?" So it would just drive him nuts. Listen to that ball pounding on the garage all the time. So finally, he went down and he says, "Come on, let's go down to the store." So he went down to the store and he bought himself a baseball glove so that he could play catch with me. So I wouldn't be pounded on the garage door all the time. And he was thinking about joining he worked for the phone company, Pac Bell at the time. It was called Pac Bell. He was going to join their softball team or something. So he wanted to get a glove anyway. So he bought a glove so he could play catch with me. I'm about done there, I guess. And so we'd sit out there when he was home, he'd come out and he'd play catch with me. But I guess it just drove him nuts, that constant pounding for hours against that garage door. And I had to drive him nuts, man. I had to just drive that guy nuts. And my Aunt Jane, she had a glove. She had her own glove. And she used to play catch with me all the time. And she could throw. She could play. And so she'd come out and she'd play catch with me all the time, man. And so she was always like, "Hey, you want to go out and play catch?" And I'd be like, "Yeah." So we'd go out. She'd play with me for an hour and a half, just throwing the ball back and forth, and we'd laugh. And David would come out, and the three of us would play catch back and forth. And my Aunt Jane was fun. She was She was a tomboy. She was she was a character, and but she God, I had so much fun going up there during the summers. My aunt and uncle and my grandma, and they all lived in the same house. Boy, my Aunt Jane, she was like one of the boys. Boy, she could play baseball. She could throw a football. She was something, and she was fun. Man, she was fun. Those are good memories. You know, just baseball season brings up all these memories of good times. Ed Goodson, you guys probably never even heard of Ed Goodson, but as far as I was concerned, he was the greatest baseball player that ever lived. You know, in my memory, he was the best third baseman that ever lived. He was better than Brooks Robinson any day of the week, and I loved Ed Goodson. He would have been a great player, but he got hurt. His first few years in the league, he was such a great player. He just lives right near me, right here in Virginia, just half hour from where I live now. But I'd love to run into him one day and just tell him how great I thought he was. So, but I still got his baseball card. It's the one card I still have. Of all the cards I had, I've still got Ed Goodson's card. It's the only baseball card I still have. That's how much he meant to me as a kid. He was the guy for me. Ed Goodson was. But anyway, God, I'm looking forward to baseball season. Can't wait. Got about an hour and 25 minutes till the Giants game comes on, so I'll be looking forward to that. So you guys that are in Muletown, I hope you guys have fun. Looking forward to seeing videos and watching you guys having fun. I wish I could have been there. Excuse me. Coke is catching up on me here. I will catch y'all later. God bless. Have fun. And enjoy the baseball season. Catch you later.